Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Caldwell County Board of Department of Social Services Board meeting. Today is Tuesday, April 30th, 2024, and it's a little after 5 o'clock, excuse me, here in the Outer Starnes building. With that, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by our invocation by Mr. Rob Evans, Pastor Rob Evans with Dry Pond Baptist Church. Everyone face the flag. Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Rob, come up to the podium right here. Yep. We need all the blessings we can get, so pray a good one for us.
You need the prayer and I need the practice. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Let's pray. Father, thank you so much for the day that you've given us, an opportunity where we can do things for you in this community. And I just pray that you'll just direct this group as they meet tonight and guide them in everything that they do. Father, I pray that you'll protect them. Lord, we also pray for those in Charlotte and all the things that happened yesterday. I pray that, Lord, you'll just minister to that whole community, and Lord, we'll thank you for it. But as a community, I pray that you'll just direct our paths and help us to do great things for Caldwell County. In your son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Rob. All right. Is there any amendments to the agenda? Laura, any amendments to the agenda?
No.
All right, thank you. Next, I need a motion to approve the agenda as it is.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda.
A second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Now I need a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve minutes.
A second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. All right, next on the agenda is a discussion item, United Way of Caldwell County Agency Agreement, Brandy Hood, Economic Services Program Administrator.
Good evening, everyone.
We got to shorten these titles up.
I know. So it's that time of year again. We request United Way funding every year. We request $25,000. United Way is a funding source that we use for our emergency assistance area. It has a lot more flexibilities when it comes to the eligibility criteria. We assist with heating, cooling, medications, medical supplies, home repairs, rent, different criteria in that. We normally give $50 to $100 per family that comes in, and we can use that with some of our emergency assistance funding that we have to kind of alleviate that crisis. So if we got someone who has some rent that they need paid and it's $550, we can do $50 from United Way, and that saves an extra $50 from our emergency assistance funding to use for another family. So I wanted you guys to kind of look through this. If you have any questions, of course, let me know, but we just need an approval to submit this application.
It's the same app as we've done in the previous
Every
years,
year.
right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so y'all have heard the requests from Brandy. Any discussion on the matter?
Am I looking at something?
Number 6, no.
I mean,
We're-
just that.
Yeah,
there's
we're
not
gonna,
like a sheet
we need to vote on,
whether that's fine with us that you requested.
Yeah,
Correct. It's an application, right?
Yeah, it's an application. Is it in the packet?
Yes, it's
Oh, is
the very back of the.
Okay. I figured it was in here somewhere. So, okay.
But
thank
basically, you
Sorry.
need us to approve you applying for this.
Yes, that's
for
all
the
I
fall.
need.
So she just needs a motion, we need a motion allowing Brandy to apply for this.
Okay, I can make a motion for that.
Okay.
That we will approve your application to United Way.
And a second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you, Brandy, for all you do. All right, next on number 7 on our agenda is reports and National Child Abuse Prevention Month. Laura Harrison, Child Welfare Program Administrator.
So April, as you know, is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and on April 16th, the county commissioners did a proclamation, and they proclaimed April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. And I'm just going to read just a little bit from that. I'm not going to read the whole thing, and by doing that, they called upon all citizens, community agencies, faith groups, medical facilities, elected leaders, and businesses to increase their participation in our efforts to support children and families, thereby preventing child abuse and strengthening the community in which we live. And so if you've noticed at the DHHS building, we planted pinwheels, and so blue pinwheels are like kind of the symbol for that. They were placed also at the library. Out here there were some, I don't know if they're still there. But so we do that every year in April just to recognize that.
That's great. I know the pinwheels have always been a interesting little thing because people don't really understand, don't really know what they are. So I've had a lot of people ask me through the years, what are the pinwheels, you know? So it's always good to know what the backstory is on those. All right, anybody got any questions for Laura? No. Thank you for that information, Laura. Next is going to be Child Protective Services presentation, Crystal Henderson, Staff Development Supervisor, and Leah Church, Intake Social Worker Supervisor. Whew, that's a mouthful.
So Crystal wasn't able to be with us tonight, so this is Leah.
So I'm
Hello,
Leah
Miss
Church.
Leah.
I supervise intake. I'm going to be talking to you guys about intake and in-home. And I've been in intake for a few months, and before that I supervised in-home for a couple years. So we have a PowerPoint. We'll go through it pretty briefly. So the first thing we're going to talk about is intake and making a report. And so everybody in the state of North Carolina are mandated reporters. And so if you have a strong suspicion or reasonable cause, that's enough to call. So you can reach out to 828-426-8257 or 828-426-8200 and ask to speak to intake, and we will take that report. Our intake workers do a good job of asking a lot of questions and gathering information. A lot of times I think reporters don't realize how much information they have. When we start asking questions, they realize that they have a lot more detail and information that helps us make the best decisions for our screening. So the reports have to be on juveniles, and so that's anybody under 18 that's not emancipated, married, or a part of the U.S. Armed Forces. They're no longer juveniles at that point. And there's also the criteria we ask about caregivers. And so a caregiver is not a parent. And so if a report is received and the alleged perpetrator is not a caregiver, which is an adult living in the home or an adult with significant decision-making authority over the children, then those reports, if it's not a parent or caretaker, would not be screened in. But that doesn't mean that it stops there. And so those reports, if it's about sexual abuse or physical abuse, anything where charges could be pressed, we refer those on to law enforcement. So we take reports on, once we determine if the perpetrator is a caretaker or a parent, we move on to decide if those meet the legal definitions of abuse, neglect, or dependency. And so we either screen those in for assessment or we screen them out, and either that's where it stops or it goes to law enforcement if it meets those criteria that I talked about. And again, the numbers to call are 828-426-8257 and 828-426-8200. There is a social worker on call 24 hours, 365 days a year, and you can call through the sheriff's department if there is a report to be made after hours, on weekends, holidays, and that number is 828-758-2324. And those reports are screened by our intake social worker, our intake supervisor, and if there's a child under 5 in the home where the report is made on, we have an additional supervisor review so that there's a third level because that population is more vulnerable. So we have an additional review those for our internal process. So after they're screened, cases go to assessments, and through assessments, they'll assess the situation and determine if CPS services are not needed or if CPS services are needed. And the services needed case decision means the case will either go to in-home services or permanency, which is also known as foster care. And so in in-home services, it's a social worker who's assigned to the family who works very intensively. So typically that social worker meets with the family every week. And so kids are in the home, and what our goal is to make sure that we can put services into place that strengthen the family, to ensure safety for the child and prevent future maltreatment. And so our goal in in-home is to keep kids at home and avoid court intervention. that it doesn't always happen. And so really at 6 months, we evaluate every 3 months. So we sign a case plan, which is a big form that we complete with the family or caretakers that says, here's our expectations for you guys. Here's your expectations for us. How are we going to do this so we can keep your kids at home? And through that, after that, we have 30 days to develop that. And then every 3 months thereafter, we evaluate how that's going. Is there any new needs? Have you completed the first need, and let's add this new one? Or you're doing great, we can close our case. And if at 6 months we've not seen any progress, or there's a big significant change throughout the case, then at that point we would discuss court intervention with the family. But that is the goal of In-Home. They work very intensively with families to ensure, to keep families out of the court system and hopefully keep kids at home. There, we have one In-Home team composed of, when fully staffed, composed of 5 workers. And our intake department is myself and 2 intake workers, and we have a administrative assistant with us as well.
And then on-call is also.
Yeah,
part of your team.
on-call is also a part of our team. We have 2 on-call workers that rotate throughout the week.
So can somebody call 24/7, or is it, that's what I thought?
Yes. If it's after hours, holiday, anything like that, they can call through the sheriff's department.
So
And
that-
reach
does that
the
number-
on-call.
Do those numbers roll to the sheriff's department
Yes.
at night or whatever?
They actually roll to the sheriff's department if something wild were to happen and all 3 of us are on the phone and our administrative assistant's on the phone and the front desk can't get it, it'll roll to the sheriff's department, who will call us, and we'll get it handled during
Oh,
business
perfect.
hours too.
Okay.
That's good.
Great, that's good.
Yeah.
Good to know. So that's always available, so if you guys ever have any, concerns and you want to report something, then obviously
Yeah.
pick up the phone and call us.
Crystal Henderson's actually made some really nice business cards that talk about how to report, and we plan on sharing those with law enforcement and other community partners. So if you guys ever need those, we can get you some to hand out.
Okay.
And we actually have been handing those out at all the
Yeah.
recent community events that we've been to and giving those to law enforcement as well.
They're very
That's great. You know,
helpful.
one of the things I was sitting here thinking when you were talking about that, I was thinking the phone number might pop up on the screen here, so maybe next time we just keep that number. and
Sure.
Maybe put it at the bottom of the screen or something. Eric can do that for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't you, Eric? All right, that's great.
Thank you,
Great work,
guys.
guys.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
Anybody got any questions for Leah?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, next on the agenda is going to be monthly updates, and one of the most exciting moments. Can't wait. Each month is one of the things I look forward to the most.
You have a dull
Is,
life, but thank you.
Yeah, is seeing my buddy Chris come up and talk about the financial report.
Thank you very
It's like
much.
in Andy Griffith.
I'm
You know,
sorry.
You've seen the Andy Griffith episode where the preacher, Opie was going around doing the, writing stories in the paper. They'd started this paper. And Opie overheard them talking about the pastor being dry as dust, right? So that's one of those moments when I look at the financial report and I think financial reports to me is about as dry as dust. You know? But you have a way of making it sound exciting, so
Well, I certainly
appreciate you being
that.
here, Chris.
Unfortunately, I grew up in a time before cable TV, and our family could not pick up a channel that showed Andy Griffin.
Well, if
So
you
I
got
did
Me
not grow
TV,
up watching it.
I'm gonna give Andy a plug right now. If you got Me TV, it comes on every evening, 2 episodes.
Okay, I'll try to remember that. Thank you very much, Donnie, and good evening to the whole board. Our March financial report, reimbursements for the month totaled $566,685. We ended the month with receivables at just under $1.3 million. Expenses for the month totaled $1,235,749. So the total county dollar expensed in the month came in at $669,064. In the year-to-date to prior year comparison, expenses are up about $548,000 this year. Revenues are up half that amount, or $274,000. Therefore, the difference is our increasing county dollar, which is also $274,000. So I wanted to highlight for you this month where the increases are coming from. And as you see in the highlight section at the bottom of the report, staff expense alone accounts for just over 50% of the $548,000. And of course, that is mostly as a result of adding several new positions this year, and of course, merit increases that have occurred throughout the year. But the other 50% comes from a variety of areas, one being operational expenses. That's a $103,000 increase, but most of that's out of our control. Of that 103, 52,000 came from a new telephone system that was implemented about this time last year, and we're paying $6,000 a month for that, whereas previously we didn't have a monthly expense for a telephone system. Also, the implementation of or transition to using Microsoft 365 apps. We pay $5,000 a month for those. So, you know, over a year, that's another $60,000. So really, these increases are out of our control. You know, they may kind of look significant as a whole, but there's really nothing we can do about them. Foster care room and board payments are up $159,000, you know, 9 months into the year. So that's about $17,000 a month, roughly. And adoption assistance cash payment, which is a cash benefit paid to eligible adoptive families, and that is an all-county cost. There's no reimbursement tied to that expense. So that's gone up significantly, simply due to increased board rates that the state implemented, again, out of our control. Those areas alone account for almost a $600,000 increase in expenses. Therefore, since the total increase is only $548,000, there are some areas where we're a little lower than last year, but not a significant amount, so I didn't identify any of those. I'd be happy to try to answer any questions if you have any.
I will say that even though it sounds like a whole lot of money for a telephone system, it was badly needed because our
Yes.
system was
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
antiquated, like, I don't know,
Yeah,
probably 30 years old.
It
I mean,
was
it's
so
old.
many years out of date, and the
You
service.
couldn't repair the
Yes.
equipment we had. When it broke, there was no way to fix it, so we just had to replace the
Right,
whole system.
yeah.
But it's,
So, yeah,
I think our
I don't
system
want
now,
anyone to take that as that I was trying to make a point, we should have kept the old system, not whatsoever,
Oh,
because
it's
it
terrible.
needed to be replaced
No, it's
years
terrible.
ago.
and I think what we have now works pretty good, doesn't it?
Yes,
Yeah, everybody pretty happy with
Yes.
that new phone system, yeah.
yeah, much
That's my
more,
understanding, so. I don't know much about
automated.
the Microsoft 365, other than I know that a lot of our technology was antiquated and old and just outdated, so we had to update a lot of
and,
stuff. so.
and that was an
And
improvement
that was
in
countywide,
technology.
not just DSS, but that's countywide. So
Yes, yes,
way overdue, is my point.
yeah.
All right, anybody got any questions for Chris? Well, buddy, as always, I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, next is Director's Report. This evening, Laura is filling in for Kim. Kim is out with a medical procedure, and our prayers are with her as she went through that, I guess, today, right?
She did.
Yeah, so, but we will get a Director's Report from Laura Harrison, Child Welfare Program Administrator.
So if we look at the personnel report, just a couple things to highlight on that. You'll see the positions filled. I'll just point out that IT, we were able to fill that position fairly quickly, so we were very excited about that. I will say that all the expansion positions are filled at this point, and we are working to fill the FNS positions. And we currently are in the process of looking at a couple applicants, I think 2 to 3, doing some reference checks, so hopefully the rest will be filled fairly quickly as well. And then, so any questions about that before I move on to the next?
No, it just seems like We just can't never get it full, can we?
No,
We
but
get
we're getting
close.
close.
I was gonna say,
We're
we
so
get
close.
pretty close.
Yeah, yeah. We got high hopes. We're getting there.
Yeah.
And we wanted to let y'all know that Kim was able to meet with all the employees to let them know the results of the pay study that came out recently by the county. And we're very happy and thankful for the results of that and what we all got from that. So we wanted to make sure that you guys knew that. And again, and all the employees and us, you know, we're very happy about that.
Well, it's, I probably got the most emails and appreciation that I've ever gotten, from employees. And you don't realize how much that means to us as commissioners and board members when we do something and y'all acknowledge that you appreciate it. It means a lot to us that doesn't go unnoticed. So, it's well-deserved, it was across DSS and health, but, well-deserved. Wish it could have been more. We'll continue to fight the fight and continue to look at it each year. But it was a significant step in the right direction. So we appreciate what our staff does, and we're just truly blessed with great employees. I mean, not just in DSS, but across the whole county. But I do defend y'all quite a bit from some of the hardest working people we got in this county is in DSS and the health department. So appreciate all you guys do.
And that's all I have to report.
Any questions? Comments? All right, we'll move along. Child Services and Adult Highlights, Casey Pruitt, Child Welfare Program Manager, and April Wiles Williamson, Adult Protective Services Supervisor.
Good afternoon.
Good evening, how are you?
Good. How are y'all doing?
Why are you acting so nervous for?
I hate this.
I
Aw,
totally agree. I hate it too. I feel you. Yeah.
It's good seeing you.
good seeing you. I done seen you one time today.
I know, and I tried to tell Laura while you were there, and I was like, I can't remember it. It was a really long words, he said. So I couldn't tell her what you were doing there.
Oh, yeah, it was a lot. That was a mouthful, too.
Yes. I'm going to go over the Child and Family and Adult Services monthly highlights and the numbers for March 2024. For CPS intake, you'll notice in several categories we kind of declined in the month, and that's, or through the year, and that's kind of normal because we ebb and flow, and we have busier seasons and busier times than we do. So this is one of those that kind of decreased a little bit in all areas except foster care. CPS intake, we had 170 calls for the month. CPS assessments, we had 56 new cases. We assisted other counties in 19 occasions. We have 17 cases in in-home services. 2 of those were, and in addition to that, we have 2 assists for other counties. Foster care, our children have increased just slightly to 166 children currently in foster care. We have 8 children in the 18 to 21 program. We didn't complete any adoptions this month, but we have a lot getting ready to be finalized, and that's how that one goes too. We'll have none, and all of a sudden we'll have 4 to 6 to 8 just suddenly pop up. We have 22 regular foster homes, and we have 8 relative kinship foster homes. And let me find my notes because I have to write out everything I'm going to say, or it goes blank and I forget what I'm doing. So, our highlights from child welfare is we have 1 student graduating this spring. She is graduating early, and her plan currently is to move into an independent living program while she pursues further education. 2 of our employees, Amber from Income Maintenance and Matt from Child Welfare, spoke to the students at South Caldwell High School at their career and Cal Fair. So hopefully we'll be encouraging people to get some or come to DSS in their future. May is National Foster Care Month. The 2024 theme is engaging youth, building supports, and strengthening opportunities. It focuses on the need for a child welfare system that engages and supports young people who are preparing to leave foster care. The unfortunate reality of a lot of children who age out of foster care is they're homeless within the first year of leaving foster care. So they're trying to build up and see what we can do to further their stability when they're exiting. And it's been a work in progress, and it has been my entire career. So we're making strides, but we're not there yet. So
like the young lady I think you just mentioned. So what sort of situation is that type of living environment that she would be going to?
Independent living program, and there's multiple of them throughout the state, and each one is slightly different from the other. But it gives them the opportunity to kind of live on their own in a rented space where they have a bedroom, their own bathrooms. Some of them share, it depends on the facility. But it also teaches them work skills and cooking and cleaning and how just to live on your own, how to
That's
Pay
great.
bills.
Yes.
That's great, yeah.
all the necessities you need that you don't know you need until you're on your own going, oh my goodness, how do I do this?
Yeah,
So that's what an independent living program does. And they can usually stay up in that until what, age 21?
that's great.
Through the 1821 foster care program.
That's good.
And the entire time they're in that program is preparing them to live on their life after DSS.
So they just get some financial assistance to help pay.
Yes.
But they have to work and then
Yes.
they, okay.
Yes, they either have to work or go to school.
Okay. I like that.
How long has that program been active?
At least 30 years, but probably longer
Do
than
you guys
that.
have any success stories? I think that'd be a powerful way to show you guys or know what you need to do from that program to pass those stories along, be it social media or maybe in person.
I will definitely look into that.
Sure.
Yes. And I agree, that would probably,
So I was asked a question by somebody who routinely watches our local cable channel here, and I was able to answer his questions, but it made me think about other people are listening. When you talk about we assist other counties, in this case, in March, we had 19 assists. Just briefly talk about what that assist might look like.
that number was for protective services. So that is, someone has an open assessment in another county, and the family is living here or the child has been placed here, and we assign it to a worker to go out and do what service that county needs. Sometimes it's set up interviews, sometimes it's meet with a caretaker and set up or complete safety assessments and make sure the situation's safe, or look at the household and make sure the home is a safe place for the child to be.
Yeah. And I guess the question too was that, and I guess they didn't understand that we actually do the same thing for other counties. We actually ask for assistance from other
Yes.
counties, so it's kind of like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. So the question was like, why don't they come here and do their own work, right? That was sort of the conversation, and I was explaining to them how all that worked, and that we routinely use other DSSs to do the same thing for us, so it's a
Yes.
give and take. We help each other.
And we do that all through child welfare, so that goes from assessments to foster care.
Right.
Especially if it's a distance away, then most of our foster care cases, we'll send it out for distance. If it's within usually a couple hours, our foster care workers usually go and do their own contacts and visits, and we won't send
Yeah,
those
these
out.
are usually long-distance type
Yeah.
situations, yeah.
And we want to keep that contact with our children, and you trust other people, and that's fine, but it's like, that's my child, and
Right.
that's my connection, and I'm
Take
their
ownership.
person.
You take
Yeah.
ownership of it,
Yeah.
yeah.
So our social workers like to do a lot of their own. And we do even assessments, we do cross-county lines. We get permission from the county to come into their county, of course. But in cases like where you're going to place a child in another county with a relative or something, you want that county to sign off and make sure it's okay. We don't want to, they're the ones that's more familiar with the family on their end, so we don't
Right.
want to create a bad situation. So we
Correct.
want that other county to say, yeah, it's good, let them come here, it's
Yeah,
fine.
we work together with
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot of the counties, so. It's not just a Caldwell County issue, it's
Right.
it crosses county lines quite frequently.
Yes.
All right, anybody got any more questions for Casey? All right.
May is National, did I get that part yet? Did I do
Oh, I
national?
thought we were, nope, I don't think you got that part yet. Keep it going.
I did that part, okay. Sorry, y'all know, okay, sorry. Caldwell DSS will show our appreciation for our foster parents during the month of May too, since that's National Foster Care Month. Foster parents have very involved, very difficult, and very rewarding jobs that they do for us. So we like to kind of celebrate them a little bit too. And if anyone is interested in being a foster parent and like to join our Be the Village team, please contact Valerie Ackerman at 828-426-8281. Now, I'll give you the numbers for adult services. In the month of March 2024, adult guardianship came down slightly to 47. APS intake had 40 calls, and they screened in 24 reports. And I'm going to hand it over to April.
All right.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
So, I'm here to tell you a success story that we've had in adult services. And it's a success story all the way from foster care coming up. This individual grew up in foster care. He had a hard life. He was diagnosed with pretty significant diagnosis, IDD, PTSD, just the trauma of what he went through. Foster care, they found a wonderful placement in another county that was willing and able to help this individual to overcome a lot of obstacles he faced. I would like to tell you guys that he is now graduating June 5th, 2024, in the extended program. He also went through the 18 to 21 program as well. He became a legal ward of ours back when he turned 18, and now he is thriving. He's getting ready to graduate. He's going to Special Olympics in May. He is just rocking it. I got to meet him the first time last month, and this individual is precious, and he is outgoing, and he's just rocked it.
That's awesome.
I really commend the foster parent and the she's now become an AFL provider for us. That job well done on this individual.
That's awesome. You know, to Darrell's point, I think anytime we can show success stories, whether it be at a board meeting or social media, it reassures everybody that, you know, it's not all failures, right? There is success
Yes.
stories. We do have failures. We're not naive enough to think that we're perfect, but at the end of the day, success stories are what it's all about. That's why we're here. That's why you guys do what you do. So to his point, I think it'd be good if we could, and I don't know from a legal standpoint, you know, can we get these individuals to do some type of testimonial, Facebook, you know, or social media testimonial, you know, is that something we can do? So if we can, it'd be great to have that. And it sounds like this young man might be one who'd be willing to do something like that. They'd probably do it pretty good.
The family might be able to.
Yeah.
He's not able to speak on his behalf,
Okay.
but the family may be able to
That'd be great.
do that for him.
Yeah.
Yep. So, thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
You're very welcome.
That's very special.
So I'm on to Celebration of Life. So May is Older Americans Month, and we are having Celebration of Life May 17th from 8:30 to 1. It's at Mountain Grove Church, and it's for 60 and older residents of Caldwell County. Any resident of Caldwell County is invited. We would love for you to come. There will be informational booths, door prizes, entertainment, and lunch. This event is free. We we work on donations through the county to help us do this program, or event, I should say. Today we had a auction through our county to raise money for this event. I'd like to give a shout out to our gold sponsors, which is VIA, Brockford Inn, Grace Village, Clark & Clark Attorney, and Hickory Falls. A gold sponsor is they donated $500 plus into our event, $500. And then shout out to silver sponsors, which is Premier Home Health, Caldwell Home Services, Lenore Health Care, and Quality Home Staffing. And they were able to donate $250. So this is a great program, and it's lots of fun.
When's the last day to donate?
Last day to donate, all the way up to,
Up to the day. Well,
yeah, up to
don't you guys do T-shirts though?
We do
So
T-shirts.
you gotta have that information in at time of
Yes.
use T-shirts, sponsorships on T-shirts, right?
Yes, so if you want a sponsorship on the T-shirt, it's gonna be on the back. Please do it by the 6th, because, May 6th, because we are ordering those shirts that day.
Got it,
So,
got it. And
We can take donations anytime during the year. Anything not utilized this year will just be held to, to pay towards next year's event.
Gotcha, okay. If you've never been to this event, I don't know if anybody here has been or not.
I was there last year.
That's right, you were. Have you been?
No, I'm gonna go
Drew,
this
have you ever been? It's incredible. I highly encourage you to go and be there. It's one of the events. Unfortunately, I'll be out of town, won't be able to go this year, but it is a very good event. They do a really good job with it. It's very much appreciated by the senior citizens and people that show up there. And again, if you hadn't gone, I should highly suggest you go this year. And if a hospital doesn't have a booth yet, we might want to talk to Jarrell here.
We might
Since
make it happen.
he can probably
Okay.
make that happen.
okay, you told me last month, and it's not yet.
You guys, I'll ping back and forth.
You just
on
gotta-
email.
you
Just,
gotta
if I
follow
don't
up
email
with
you, gotta hit me. You gotta follow
Okay,
up.
okay.
Yeah,
I'll tell
Stay
him.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just ping me. Just question.
Okay.
yeah.
I would like to say Timberwoods is catering this year, like last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we have Rocky as the, speaker, and,
Rocky Brothers.
yes. And then we have entertainment, which is Bob Henson's kids.
That's right, it was Bob Henson, yeah.
I
Bob
have to
Henson's
think of
great.
They were good, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were very
And,
good.
Very.
I love to
Rocky's
see-
reached the senior level, so he can really, add some great commentary there. So he's reached that level, so.
So yes, it's a lot of fun. Please join. And I have done something different this year than normally. I am trying to email all the churches in the surrounding area to get more people involved.
Great, that's awesome.
That's a good idea, April. Yeah.
All right, anybody got any questions? Any comments for either one, Case or April? Y'all keep up the great work. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Good job.
All right, let's see. Next on the agenda is Family Support Services highlights. Brandy Hood, Economic Services Program Administrator.
Hey again.
Hello.
So for the economic services numbers for the month of March, food nutrition received 571 applications with 11,746 individuals currently receiving. And the total services paid out was $1,931,167. For our child care services, there was 18 applications submitted through the month of March with 659 individuals currently receiving, and the total services was $261,844. For our Medicaid services, we had 727 applications received with 30,185 individuals. For Work First Family Assistance, we had 31 applications. 27 individuals are currently receiving. For our child support services, we have 2,639 active cases. Total collections for the month of March was $495,274.54. For our emergency assistance area, there were 386 applications, 70 telephone calls, and the total services paid out was $17,557.54. For customer service, the individuals assisted at the front desk was 1,195, and there was 4,336 telephone calls handled through the switchboard. So I just want to highlight a couple areas throughout these, the month of March. So for our child support, I know I've said this probably for the past couple months, but the state really recognizes them in all of their, they have certain criteria that they have to meet, and our child support department does phenomenal in those areas. You'll see a jump right through from February to March, and that's just due to and it's not too much of a jump, but that's due to tax interceptions and those funds coming in at this point. For our emergency assistance, I want to highlight, you can show from January to March, you can see the increase of services we pay out in our peak season, which would be January and February, and then from now we're outside of peak season in the month of March, and you can see the difference there, 195,000 versus 17,000. So I just wanted to highlight that as well. I do want to give an update. We just completed our management evaluation audit on April 23rd, and that is an audit for, I mentioned it last month, for our food and nutrition, emergency assistance, and our program integrity areas. They're finalizing all of the results from that, and hopefully we'll hear something soon and we can report that back to you guys. I'm not going to talk much on Medicaid. I am just going to give a very brief, very brief. As of right now, we have approximately, and this is over the state, 430,700 individuals receiving through expansion, and they're expecting it to be at 600,000 by mid-year. So the next couple of months, they're thinking it's going to increase to 600,000.
How long does it take to get approved for that? Once they fill out the application and they get approved, how long is it? What's that process look like?
So once they apply for the services, there's a 45-day processing time, but we
Okay.
try to complete the application as soon as we get it. So if we
Yeah.
have everything we need, we complete it that as soon as we have it. And then their services, if say they applied today, it would retro back to 4/1, the first
Okay.
of the month that they apply in.
And so they will get an answer within 45 days of
Yes.
whether they're approved or not.
Yes.
And once they get approved, it's retro back to the first of the month.
Of the month that they apply in.
So it happens pretty quick.
And they can also apply for retroactive Medicaid, which can go back 3 months prior to
Okay.
the application month. So, I want to mention the hybrid remote pilot. It ends this month. Actually, today is the last day, but we are gathering all the data, and we're hoping to have everything prepared to you guys to present next board meeting, so we can kind of go over those numbers and how that's looking for the hybrid remote.
How do you feel right now about it?
I think it's going pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, there's been some hiccups along the way,
Sure.
but for the most part, I think it's been pretty successful.
You
Yeah.
only have about 10 people doing it, right?
I think we have seven
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't want to do
Yeah, I was
it, and
surprised
that
when
was
you said
very
yeah.
shocking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Or they did it and then they was like, oh, this isn't for me. I want to come back. So
Well, and it's got to be the right person. It's got to, it's got to fit the right need,
Yes,
Because
yes.
a lot of times if you're working from home, it's very easy to get distracted with things
That's
that
true.
normal life at home, right? So it's easy to get distracted. So you end up either not getting the stuff done at work because you're doing stuff at home, or you can't get stuff at home done because you're working and you're battling mentally. You're battling back and forth what you should
Yeah.
be doing. So
You have to keep
I
yourself
get it.
motivated.
Yeah,
You
I
can
get
get
it.
easily distracted.
You got to be very disciplined to be able to do
Yes.
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. One last thing. So we've updated the layout of the highlights, and we just wanted you guys' thoughts on this. I know it's a lot of information on here, so it looks very jumbled, but
I
we want
like
to
it.
provide the information, but we also want it to be in a neat form, so we're trying to figure out the best way. What's your thoughts on the highlights? Is it the layout of the highlights?
I like
Oh, the way,
Yeah.
this part?
Yes, okay.
I think it's easy to read.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That was all that I had
Yeah.
then.
All right.
Thank you.
Anybody got any questions or comments for Brandy? As always, we appreciate what you guys do. All right. Last on the agenda here is our next meeting will be on Tuesday, May 28th, here in the Allen East Starnes building at 5 o'clock. And anybody got any comments or anything they'd like to say before we adjourn? All right. With that being said, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed. Motion carries. Thank you for joining us this evening. We are adjourned.